So, I mean, the first thing that I see here is it really looks like new opportunities involving work and career. I see that some of you have maybe decided to take another course or do another path, maybe even just change careers completely, maybe go back to school even, learn a new trade, learn a new skill, because there's some boredom, but also I want to say that you don't feel like you're making what you're worth. And you've been working really hard, really diligently. It's almost like some of you are under the impression, or you have been under the impression, that if I put in extra hours, if I work overtime, I'll get this extra money that I'm looking for. But for some of you, it's so tiring and you feel very spent. And also for others of you, it's more that, you know, even when you're working the overtime and you're putting in the extra work, you're not making what you want to be making. So there's an idea here where you want to approach something new. You want to set a new path, a new course. And you're going to be very lucky if you do this. Now, it is going to take action on your part, okay? And there may be a period where you're fighting with yourself and you're really trying to, you know, because there's a logical part of you that says, should I be doing this? Is this the right move? Because you're so set in your way, or you're so comfortable with the way things have been. But whatever this new opportunity is that's coming in for you, and it could be, I want to say for some of you, it may even be like a family business that you're considering, or doing business with someone who is like family, or maybe your families have known each other for some time. For some of you, that's a possibility. And that can be the person that's presenting you with this opportunity, or you presenting it to them. And there's just this internal struggle here with whether or not this is the path you should go. And I will say, based on this reading, with the Star card here, with the 10 of Cups, this is a definite yes. You're going to be blessed moving in this new direction. The Ace of Pentacles popped out as I was shuffling, and the Ace of Pentacles is all about new physical beginnings, new jobs, new opportunities, new career moves, advancement, okay? For some of you, this is a big promotion. For others of you, this can be like getting, I want to say, a family member helping you out financially, okay? Or maybe they're making some type of financial offer to you. Sorry, I have my hot chocolate here. It's freezing. I'm so cold. There is something here about waiting as well. So don't expect that immediately when you begin this new venture, it's going to happen for you right away. You know, it's not like you're going to double or triple your income right away. It's going to take a little time. With the Hanged Man as the outcome card here, it's really just telling me that in the month of December, you're not going to see things to its fruition. Okay, it's going to take some time to build on this idea, on this opportunity. But it's a positive move. It really is. And in the long term, it's going to be very, very fruitful. So when you're having that internal struggle of what's rational, what's logical, and where your passions and where your heart is guiding you, follow your heart. Follow that gut feeling. Follow that intuition. Okay? Don't remain stagnant out of fear. So with that said, I'm going to take a few clarifying cards on this. And I want to look at the Hanged Man, just to see if there's any additional messages that may be coming through with that. Hanged Man. Otherwise, honestly, guys, this is a beautiful reading. Yeah. Waiting for this new opportunity, but while you're waiting for this opportunity, okay, You're having to say goodbye to the old patterns and the old way of doing things. And it's going to be a major shakeup. Now, this is called the misfortune card, but honestly, what it says to me is it's like the tower in the Rider-Waite deck. So it's just a major shakeup. It's bringing things down to the foundations so that you can rebuild and reestablish. Okay? So the Hanged Man is just saying that there is a waiting period for things to grow and expand. But while you're waiting for that growth, again, you need to let go of the past and stop battling with yourself. I just see a big shift here. For some of you, maybe you've been working 2 jobs or doing your day job, and at night you're doing what your passions are. You're maybe starting a new business or looking in other directions for new opportunities, or maybe doing night school. And it's almost like you're giving up one for the other. And you're going to be able to do it successfully because there's new opportunities coming in. Okay? So that's what I see for the general. Let's go ahead and move to the singles love reading for December. And I want to say too, while I'm shuffling, and I always forget because I don't like to make my announcements very long, but I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, whatever it is you celebrate. If you celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful month. All right. We have the King of Swords, Queen of Cups, the Four of Swords, the Three of Cups, Nine of Cups, Nine of Swords, Nine of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, and the Four of Wands. Interesting. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Wands. So Ace of Wands is the overall energy. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of excitement, but there can also be a lot of possible aggression or hostility that you're dealing with, or internal anger. And I feel that for the female Leos, you're dealing with someone that is maybe not being emotionally as open and you feel upfront and honest as you would like them to be. You kind of question their sincerity, their authenticity, or you question if they're really even wanting any type of commitment or any type of relationship, okay? There's somebody in your vicinity that you may have those feelings for, and you're maybe wanting a relationship, you're wanting to work with this person, but they're kind of giving you the cold shoulder. And so, it's kind of like a hot and cold situation where some days you feel like there's potential, but then other days you're questioning whether or not this person even wants anything to do with you. For other single female Leos who aren't in that predicament, there is someone in your vicinity who they see you as a very outgoing, charismatic, fun, energetic person. For some of you, this could be a brother of a friend, or if you have like a female friend, this could be their brother or their cousin or their uncle or something like that. And it's someone that honestly you maybe have had a crush on, or someone that you've had an interest in the past or presently do. For some of you, this is someone you work with, okay? And they're a boss. There's someone in a higher position. You're so worried and anxious about the potential of this relationship, whichever scenario is the one that calls out to you. Whether you know of this person or you don't, you're kind of on guard, and you're anxious because you don't know where you stand with this person, or when this person does make themselves known, which honestly I don't feel like they're going to do this month. I think you kind of have to seek them out. If you don't know who this person is, you might have to seek them out. Start thinking about the people you know, because they're a little apprehensive in approaching you because you're so outgoing. They're afraid of rejection, okay? But for those of you who do know who this is and you're interested, but they're hot and cold with you, you're kind of taking a breather this month. You're stepping away from this person. Because you've been so anxious about the potential of this relationship, if it's there, if it's not. And I would say that this month, the cards are really saying focus on making yourself happy first before worrying about this other person. Because if this person wants to be in your life, they'll eventually come around, okay? All you can do is show that you are an easygoing, approachable, loving person, which you are as a Leo. But sometimes just your energy, your charisma, your confidence, that can be a little intimidating for some people, especially quieter people. I feel like this could be a male air sign. So that would be Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. Okay. And for them, they're more in their head. They're more, think things out first before they approach anything. But I have to say, there's strong sexual chemistry here, and that you both will find, if you don't know this person yet, you will find this person attractive. If you do, just know that if you do know this person and you don't know where you stand, just know that they are physically very attracted to you. But it's just that they're kind of on guard. They're kind of nervous about approaching you. So just kind of put it out there that, you're easygoing, if you know this person is, kind of leave it like open-ended, hey, if you ever want to go out sometime, let me know. I like to do X, Y, and Z. Do you enjoy any of those? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Don't strut your stuff so much, as I know I have a Venus. My Venus is in Leo, so I know what that's about. When I like someone, I'm like strutting my stuff, look what a great person I am. Look at what I got to offer. And that can be intimidating for some people because they're like, well, she does have a lot to offer. Do you think I don't know if I have a chance with this person, right? Bring it down a couple notches and just show yourself as being approachable. Okay. Now for you single male Leos, you're on guard about a woman, and it could be a woman who's a water sign. That would be a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Okay. I feel like this person, they have a strong sexual attraction to you, a strong physical attraction to you, and you to them. And this can be someone that you work with, or someone that is within your friends, your group of friends. But there's a part of you that's apprehensive about really getting, being vulnerable, okay? Opening yourself up intimately to this person. Ultimately, your desire would be to have a partnership with this individual, but there's something about this person that kind of puts you on guard. Maybe it's because they're a friend and you're worried if you take it there, will you lose that friendship? Or if you ask them or approach them, they're going to see you differently. But it says here, stop being quiet about it. Stop shying away. Speak up, okay? And just show them that you're interested in working on this and building something together, because in the end, it looks like it could be very promising, a long-term kind of relationship. Okay, so let's just clarify a couple things. I want to look at the Nine of Swords. Yeah. See, for some of you, especially my male Leos, my male single Leos, we have the Prisoner card. So you're feeling trapped by your emotions and your feelings. You don't feel like you can openly tell this person how you feel because they're a friend and you're afraid of ruining that relationship. But actually, this would be something that brings you closer together. It helps you mend your relationship because if you aren't being completely honest about your emotions or your feelings, you're kind of putting a barrier between you and that person. And when you can be open and honest, it allows that other person to be open and honest, and therefore you're both vulnerable and you're building something, okay? You're building something together instead of you just anxious and worried and fearful about what may be. For those of you female Leos, it's the same thing. You know, I feel like you either you haven't openly really told this person, and you're kind of waiting for them, and they've been hot and cold with you, right? But I think the best thing you can do in that situation, if they're hot and cold with you, just let them see where it goes. You know, be more of a friend than anything else, and that can help your relationship grow. Maybe they're feeling a bit apprehensive because you're coming on a little too strong for them, like I said. For those of you who maybe aren't aware who this person could be, I feel like these cards are basically saying that you're trapped in your own thoughts. You need to be nicer to yourself because you're kind of putting it out there like this negative vibe where you're coming across unapproachable in the sense that you have negative thought patterns about yourself, and because of that, you're being perceived as maybe, you know, you're not wanting a relationship or you're not interested when somebody's out there who's interested within your group. So work on that, work on those negative thoughts and feelings. Like I said, be more open, show that you're a very loving, you know, a loving person, and you're down to earth. And I feel like that could open the doorway for this person to be open and honest with you. Okay? So now let's move to the my coupled Leos. Okay. Ooh, Three of Swords. I hate that card. The Hermit. Okay. Well, this is in the past, so King of Wands. Yeah. That's in the past. Page of Cups. The World. Two of Wands. The Hanged Man. The High Priestess, the Six of Swords. And at the bottom, we have the Page of Swords. Now remember, I just like to remind people, these are general readings. It's not for everyone, not every relationship. I tend to believe that these messages that come up are for those who need them the most. You know, of course, again, if you want a private reading, I'll post my information below this video. You have a specific situation. But what I'm seeing here is that, Leo, you're coming up as a King of Wands, regardless of whether you're male or female. Okay? And I feel that you've been kind of introspective about a heartbreak or something that happened in your relationship that caused you to feel betrayed or caused you to feel hurt. Okay? So you've been looking at yourself and asking yourself, what have I contributed to this heartbreak? how could I have maybe done things a little differently, either to prevent it from happening, or how did I instigate it, or what was my part in it, Because sometimes when we get hurt by our loved one, we initially put all the blame on them, but then at some point we ask ourselves, okay, what was my part in this? Did I do anything that made this person feel the need to do this, or what have you, right? And it's not to say that you are in the wrong in any respect, but it's just you're asking yourself these questions. You're looking at yourself and you're saying, okay, why did this heartache have to happen? There's been like a waiting period in this relationship where you've been hopeful for a new beginning emotionally, okay? And this month, and I'll just put it out there, there's some communication with your partner. And this partner could be an air sign. If he is an air sign, he would be an Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. He or she, okay? But this person's very young, or they act emotionally immature. And so you've been hopeful that they would grow, or they would learn, they would mature, and they haven't done that. Now, this could be you or your partner, okay? That's acting this way. But this month, you're realizing, you know what? I have to think about the long term. Is there really potential here, long term? And I see you leaving a bad situation, okay? Because intuitively, I mean, we have the Hermit up here, we have the High Priestess right here, and then we have the World in the center of that. So these three cards together and this one line is telling me, gosh, you've been doing a lot of introspective work. You've been listening to your gut, listening to your intuition, and you haven't openly expressed completely your feelings because you're in this position where you're analyzing it for yourself. But this month, everything's coming to completion because you're fully aware now in which direction you need to go. For some of you, you may be moving out of a home, or your partner may be moving out. Okay, you would be the one telling them it's time for you to go. For some of you, you have a child in common, and that child would be the air sign, the Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Perhaps you've stayed in this relationship because you're worried about the child, but know that it's going to be for the better, okay? Because it's better if two people who don't get along are apart than together and constantly fighting and bickering and putting that burden on the child living in the home, okay? So one of you is going to be moving out this month. Because you've given this a second chance, you've worked at this, but you're not getting that reciprocated effort from your partner. Or you could be the one not reciprocating. But I really feel like it's the partner because I see you doing the analyzing. I see you really asking yourself, can I move past this? Can we move past this? I don't know. This could be a situation where your partner had an affair or had something going on with, I want to say with a younger water sign. So Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Okay. And you were waiting to see whether or not they were going to end this relationship. And I think this month you're realizing that they haven't. Okay. If that's your particular situation. And this person, your partner doesn't know, but you've actually been observing them and you've been kind of watching to see, have they ended this? Maybe you're kind of in, looking at their stuff, researching it. But this month you're just going to walk away. You're going to be done. Okay. So let's clarify some of this. And the first thing I want to look at is the Page of Swords, which is the overall energy here. Page of Swords, he can be a messenger. Okay. And it's one where you're getting some communication or there's just some clarity in mind and thought. Or this can be a younger air sign. Okay. Or the immature partner who is an air sign. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So either there's some communication going on where someone's loyalty and fidelity has been brought into question, and your friendship with this person is brought into question because there's a change that has come about. This is the Thief card. It can be literally someone stealing a partnership or a relationship away from you, but it can also just mean a sudden change in events, but they're not necessarily a positive change. Okay? It's just a change. So this Page of Swords, you know, he's a communicator, he's a messenger of sorts, bringing some type of news in that regard. I want to look at the Six of Swords here, which is the outcome card. Yeah, sorry guys. This is just how it came. This is what it is. Someone's been false, deceptive. We see, you know, again, their loyalty and fidelity has been brought into question. You're saying goodbye. You're walking away from that relationship. And there's a pleasant surprise as the outcome. So like I said, for those of you who have been doubting whether this is the right move, you're realizing this month it is, and you're going to be happy moving on from this relationship.